tonight's video, I thought I'd share with you a few recent additions to my manga collection. I have 4 volumes with me. 3 of them I have read and thoroughly enjoyed, and I'll tell you about them, and 1 that I haven't read yet. I have them here, I can just show you. So we're going to be talking about these 4 right now. Due to it being November, the end of November as I'm recording this, as we go into December, my videos might be a bit more sporadic. They might not be very, they might just not stick with the schedule because I will find myself having less time as I usually do this time of year. So I will try to get as many videos out as I can, but I apologize if you're a recurring viewer, that it's going to be a bit rocky the next few weeks. So, enough rambling, let's talk about manga. So the first, actually instead of going from one by one, I think I'll just show you them all, and then we'll talk about them. So, the first volume is The Metalhead Next Door by Mamita. We'll talk about that one a little bit. We've got more room over here. I also want to talk about Otaku Vampire's Love Bite by Julieta Suzuki. So she's the mangaka that did Kama-sama Kiss, if you know of that series. And then I have 2 pretty mainstream series. You might not have heard about them, but it's Chainsaw Man and Jujutsu Kaisen. Pretty niche. I don't think anybody's really ever heard of these, but yeah, obviously these are 2 huge series. I'll talk about these first. So, I'll talk about Jujutsu Kaisen first, because this is the one that I haven't read yet. So, I found this volume in a charity shop in the used book section, and it's pretty rare to find manga, at least where I live, in like second-hand shops. So when I found this for, I think it was £3.50, I was, I thought, why not? I have not read Jujutsu Kaisen. I've seen the first season of the anime when it came out, and I haven't stuck with it. I find shonen more enjoyable to read than to watch, and I feel like it's because you control the pacing a lot more, and you can see a lot more of what's happening if it's like a battle fighting series. So I thought, for £3.50, I'll give it a shot. Obviously it's volume 3, so I'll need to buy the other volumes first, but I'm pretty confident I'll be able to find them for a good price. The series has been out for a little while now. It's not in perfect condition. I don't know if you can see. A little hard to pick up on camera, but there's a few dents, which isn't the first time that's happened with the second-hand volume of manga that I've purchased. I feel like dented covers are pretty common. I don't know what people do to their books if they use them as coasters, but a lot of times it looks like they've just taken a pen and just gone at it for some reason. It's bizarre, but I'm not going to complain for £3.50. That's I've paid more for worse second-hand condition books, let's just say that. So the fact that it's just a few bumps on the cover, that's fine. It's still readable. So that's Jujutsu Kaisen by, I'm going to butcher this name, Gege Akutami. I never know how to pronounce that name, Gege Akutami. I'm going to just assume it's that, but I apologize if it's wrong. Yep, Jujutsu Kaisen. I haven't read it yet, so I can't tell you if I like it or not. I liked the first season of the anime, but hopefully I'll like this a little bit more, and to just talk about the other pretty popular series that I have, which is Chainsaw Man by Tatsuki Fujimoto. So I specifically picked out volume 15 because I really like this cover, and I like the spine, and I like the back, all of it I quite like, and I especially really like this devil, the falling devil. So I have volumes 1 to 16, I have volumes 17 and 18 on their way, so I haven't read up to that yet, and the place where I buy manga from doesn't have volume 19 in yet, so I'm going to have to wait for that. I could buy it from Amazon, but I don't really like using Amazon just in general, so I'll be patient and it'll come up eventually on the other site that I use. There's also something I wanted to show in this volume, if I can find it, because I want to tell you about a little lore about myself. Now you gotta promise not to laugh or make fun, because I know it's a silly thing, but I actually have a pretty irrational phobia, an irrational fear. It's called casadastrophobia, if I remember, if that's how it's pronounced, casadastrophobia. So it's an irrational phobia, fear thing, where I kind of have a fear of falling up, like falling into the sky. It does sound silly, and I know it's impossible, but it's just like a psychological thing. So when I was younger, I had claustrophobia as well as agoraphobia, so that was fun, and I've gotten a lot better with that as I've gotten older. I'm nowhere near as bad as I used to be, but I still get a bit anxious in open spaces, and more anxious, I guess, in more enclosed spaces. But I have gotten better with it, which is nice. But the reason why I wanted to bring that up is the falling devil has the ability to basically make you fall up. So this is not upside down. The falling devil, from what I can remember, uses trauma, your past trauma, and then from that fear and trauma, you kind of fall up into the sky. At least if that's how I remember how that power works. And it's such a cool idea for a devil. I really love all the devils in Chainsaw Man. It's such a good series. I read volumes 1 to 11 in the box set that I unboxed on this channel. I read it in like a week. I read all 11 volumes in a week. I couldn't put it down. I love the artwork. It feels so unique, the artwork. A lot of manga can be very polished, which looks great, but I kind of like the messy, almost rushed feel of Chainsaw Man. I think that kind of adds to the story. The story's pretty, dark and grangey, is that the word I'm looking for? And I just love Chainsaw Man. I want to make another video talking more in depth of Chainsaw Man. I'm kind of scared of talking about it because I don't want to spoil things. Because I know there's probably a lot of people who only watch the anime and they don't want to get spoiled, obviously, so maybe I'll make a video talking more in depth about the manga at some point, because I definitely want to make more videos about manga. This is one of my favorite hobbies. It's a big passion of mine, and I love Chainsaw Man, so I also want to pick up some of his other stuff. He's got some other short stories that I'd love to read. Yeah, that's Chainsaw Man by Tatsuki Fujimoto. Highly recommend. You can usually find these dirt cheap as well. On the site that I use, these are usually like brand new, £5 to £6 each. That's pretty good if you ask me. So, Next I'm going to talk to you about a shoujo that I've been reading called Otaku Vampires Love Bite. So, I love the artwork in this series. I think Hina, the main character, has a very cute design. I love all of her outfits. So, I'll tell you what this series is about. It's about a vampire. And she's called Hina Arukado. And I will read you the synopsis. Hina Arukado is a modern vampire who drinks blood from bags instead of from humans. So she's an ethical vampire, which is nice. But she's also a complete shut-in who hasn't left the house in 30 years. In an effort to reach her, Hina's dad does something that changes her life. He gives her a DVD of the Vampire Cross anime. Hina is instantly obsessed, especially with the character Mao. But it's difficult to fangirl as hard as she wants from her bedroom in Romania. So now Hina is out of the house and off to Japan to live her otaku dream. Hina's so busy collecting Mao merch that she almost doesn't feel bad about missing out on the Vampire Cross cafes. If only she had a human friend who could eat all the themed food for her, but connecting with humans isn't easy, until Hina literally bumps into her neighbor, Kyuta, a prickly boy who looks just like Mao. Having her best friend live next door will be so convenient, now if she can only just convince him to actually be her friend. It's a super fun series, like I said, by the same creator of Kame-sama Kiss. Very popular shoujo. I've only read 3 volumes of this. I'm waiting for volume 4 and 5 to come back in stock. I just love it. So she's a very high-ranking vampire, and basically, she can't really... So vampires can basically make each other do things, because there's like a hierarchy thing, but because her father is like one of the main vampires, other vampires can't really command her to do things. And she's an incredibly powerful vampire, but she doesn't really care about all that. She just wants to be a nerd. And I just I really like the characters. Kyuta, the main guy, him. He's a very fun character. He doesn't really like nerds or anime and stuff, but it's very genuinely a very good series, and I highly recommend it if you enjoy shoujo, or if you've never read shoujo. I like stories revolving vampires, so for me it was one that I really wanted to just try, and I'm glad I did, because I really like this, and I highly recommend it. If you like vampires, if you want to read a shoujo, if you like really fun, nice art and cool characters, I recommend this one. It's a really good one. And last but not least, we have a BL, the Metalhead Next Door. So I'm going to be a little bit more careful with this one because it's explicit content. Where is it? There it is. So I want to recommend this one because I read it recently, and it's also Christmas themed. See you have a coloured page there, the 2 main characters. I do like a coloured page. I don't know why. It's just special, you know. You get to see what the characters, you know, like what their hair colour is and everything. It's nice. So basically, this is a BL. If you don't know what BL is, I suppose the other word would be yaoi, which is essentially LGBTQ plus stories. Yaoi is like male on male, and Yuri is woman on woman. This is a yaoi, and I've read yaoi in the past, but I've never physically owned any. But I found this one on offer, on sale on a website, and I thought, why not? I have not read it before. I don't know who the mangaka is. I've never read anything by her in the past. I believe the mangaka is a woman. But I thought I'd give it a shot, you know, and I'm glad I did. I struggle with one-shots at times because I feel like sometimes you can want more, but there isn't any more, you know, because it's a one-shot. But this, I think, does a good job at starting. It has a good middle section, and it has a satisfying end, so it doesn't really leave me wanting more. I wouldn't mind more. I do like the characters, but I think that's what makes a good one-shot, is just having a solid from A to B plot that you know you don't have to expand on too much, and you can get it done in around 200 pages. Like I said, I've read a lot of one-shots, and a lot of times they can feel very rushed, or not expanded upon enough, but I was happy with this one. I'll read you the back of it real quick, and then we'll end off this video. Impoverished graduate student Kento nearly freezes to death outside his new, cheap, unheated apartment during a blizzard. Luckily, he's saved by neighbor Soshi, a quiet and somewhat frightening young man who dresses in all black. Although he exudes an aura that screams, "Keep away," his eyes, hidden behind long rocker hair, plead for something else. Over the following year, the two share meals together, but as the time passes, the closeted Kento finds it increasingly difficult to ignore his growing feelings. Will he choose to maintain the peaceful, happy times he's grown to love, or risk it all for the possibility of something more? This is a very sweet, fun little manga, perfect for Christmas time as it takes place around winter. I recommend it. I do. And that's really it. I will continue to add to my collection, so I imagine I'll probably make another video like this in the future. I hope you enjoyed. I hope maybe you've added some new manga to your list that you maybe want to collect, maybe want to read. So all that's left for me to say is thank you for watching. I will hopefully see you again soon. So yeah.